Hey everyone, ready to get our hands dirty digging into the world of money-saving apps.
Yeah, there are so many out there these days,
So many.
promising to help us stretch our budgets.
Exactly, but are
Exactly.
they all, they're cracked up to be?
Yeah, that's what we're here to find out.
That's what we're going to do today. We'll be diving deep into the features, the pros and cons, really getting to the bottom of whether these apps are worth your time and your download space.
Absolutely. And I think what's really interesting now is the variety, right? We've moved beyond just simple coupon clippers or expense trackers.
Yeah.
We're talking about sophisticated AI algorithms, micro-investing platforms, family budgeting tools. It's like a whole financial toolkit in your pocket.
So it's not just about hunting for deals anymore.
Right.
It's about making your money work harder, even if you're busy, even if you're not a financial expert.
Exactly. And that's why we're going beyond just listing features. We'll be breaking down how these apps actually work, the psychology behind why they might be effective, and most importantly, whether they fit into your lifestyle. Because that's what really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, finding the right tool for the job, right?
Absolutely.
So where do we even begin with this? I mean, there's so much out there.
Well, why don't we start with the trend that everyone's buzzing about, automation.
Automation.
Two big names in this space are Plum and Chip, both using AI to, well, make saving less of a chore.
Okay, AI and saving. That sounds a bit futuristic, but
Yeah.
also kind of cool. So tell me, what are the potential upsides of letting an algorithm handle your savings?
Well, think of it like this. Plum analyzes your spending, and then it sneaks little amounts into a savings account, almost like a digital piggy bank. You
Yeah.
never have to think about it.
Right.
For folks who struggle with consistency or just forget to save altogether,
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that.
it can be a game changer.
It's that set it and forget it appeal. But isn't that a little unnerving for some people, giving up that control?
Definitely, there's a psychological element at play here, and that's where Plum is smart. It allows you to set goals, you can set limits, so you're always in control of the big picture.
Okay.
It's more about taking that mental load off daily savings decisions.
So it's like a helpful nudge in the right direction,
Yeah.
not a complete takeover. Now, what about Chip? Does that take a different approach?
Chip also uses AI, but it's a bit more proactive.
Yeah.
It analyzes your upcoming bills and income to see what you can realistically save.
So it's not just looking at the past.
Right.
It's looking at the future, too.
It is.
To kind of anticipate
Exactly.
what you might need. It's like having a tiny little financial advisor in your pocket.
That's a great way to put it. But here's the question for you. How comfortable are you with letting an algorithm handle your savings?
Oh, no, that's a tough one.
Right. Some people find it liberating. Some people find it a little risky. There's no right or wrong answer. It's about finding the right fit.
I think for me, it would depend on the level of control I still have. I don't know if I'm ready to hand over the reins completely.
And that's perfectly valid. That's why it's important to explore these options and see what aligns with your comfort level.
Okay, so we've talked about automating our savings. Now let's shift gears and talk about getting a grip on our spending.
Okay.
For this, we have two budgeting apps on our list, Monzo and Hyperjar.
Right. Now, Monzo is interesting because it uses what they call saving pots. Basically, these are like virtual jars for your different goals.
Oh, like labeling envelopes?
I get. Except it's all digital.
So instead of just seeing a number on a screen, I can actually see my progress toward a specific goal.
Exactly. It's a visual way to see your progress, which can be really motivating for some people. And I think that's where the psychology comes in.
Okay, so it's not just about the visuals. There's something deeper going on.
By compartmentalizing your savings into these different pots, you're less tempted to dip into funds that are meant for something else.
It's like, hands off, that's my vacation fund.
Exactly. You're setting those boundaries.
So you're not just tracking money, you're actually kind of changing your mindset about it.
You are, which is key to good budgeting.
That's pretty clever. So what about Hyperjar? How does it approach budgeting differently?
Hyperjar is all about family or shared budgeting. So think dedicated jars for things like groceries, bills, maybe even fun money, and everyone can contribute.
Okay, so this would be great for like group trips or splitting expenses with roommates.
Exactly. No more chasing down receipts or arguing over who owes what.
I've been there. It can get messy.
It can. Hyperjar promotes transparency and takes the stress out of shared finances.
Okay, let's move on to something I think a lot of people are curious about. Micro-investing. We're going to unpack how Moneybox is making this concept a reality.
All right, Moneybox has a really cool premise. It rounds up your everyday purchases and invests those spare pennies, often without you even noticing.
Wait, so if I buy a coffee for, let's say, $3.50,
Right.
Moneybox runs it up to $4 and invests that extra 50 cents.
That's it. It's a painless way to dip your toes into investing, especially for people who are intimidated by the traditional methods.
That's a great point because I think investing can feel very overwhelming,
It can.
especially if you don't know where to start. But do those tiny amounts actually make a difference in the long run?
They can. That's the power of compounding. Small amounts invested consistently over time can grow significantly, especially with market returns.
So you're kind of taking baby steps towards building your financial future.
Exactly. And Moneybox keeps it simple. They offer pre-selected portfolios based on your risk tolerance, so you don't need to be a financial whiz to get started.
Okay, so you're saying I can be sipping my latte and building my investment portfolio at the same time.
That's the idea.
I like the sound of that.
It's all about making investing a habit, not a chore.
Now, let's stick with this theme of sharing. But this time, it's not about splitting the bill. It's about reaching those financial goals together. Tell me about Crow.
Crew is designed for seamless shared finances. It's like having a joint account with a friend, a partner, or even a group
Okay.
where you can track expenses, split bills, and even save for something big together.
So this would be perfect for couples, roommates, anyone who's constantly juggling shared expenses.
Absolutely. It takes the awkwardness out of money conversations. And it's not just about managing day-to-day stuff. Crew also lets you set shared saving goals.
So like a vacation fund.
A vacation fund, a down payment on a house, anything you're working towards together.
Having that shared goal, it's got to be motivating.
It is. And
Okay.
it makes the journey more fun when you're doing it together.
It's like teamwork for your finances. Now, for all the bargain hunters out there, we have Quidco, an app that promises cashback rewards on everyday purchases. Tell me, is it too good to be true?
Cashback has been around for a while, but Quidco partners with tons of retailers to offer a percentage back on your purchases.
So I'm basically getting paid to shop?
In a way, yes.
But let's be real, we're probably talking about small amounts, right?
The cashback percentages vary, but they can definitely add up over time, especially on things you buy regularly. Think of it as a little bonus for being a savvy shopper.
Yeah, every little bit helps, right?
Exactly. It's a nice way to stretch your budget further.
Okay, so we've talked about automating our savings, we've covered budgeting, even touched on micro-investing. But what about getting a better understanding of our current spending habits? Where does that fit into the picture?
That's where those smart insight apps come in.
Right.
And one that really stands out is Emma.
Okay, Emma.
Think of Emma as like a personal finance detective,
Ooh, I like that.
analyzing your transactions and uncovering those hidden spending leaks that might be draining your bank account.
I'm already nervous, but also kind of intrigued.
Right. Tell me more about how Emma works.
Yeah, break it down for me.
Well, Emma connects to all your bank accounts, your credit cards, giving it this complete picture of your spending. Then it breaks down your transactions into categories. It flags recurring subscriptions you might have completely forgotten about.
Oh, I'm sure we've all been there.
And it even alerts you to potential overspending in certain areas.
So it's like a personal finance audit, but without the judgment and stress.
Exactly. It's about empowering you with information.
So you can make better decisions.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to finances.
Okay, we have one more app in this category, and that is Snoop. What's the deal with this one?
Snoop takes a more proactive approach. It's like having a personal financial advisor in your pocket.
Okay, but how does it actually work? How can an app be a financial advisor?
Snoop uses a mix of data analysis and human expertise to give you personalized recommendations.
Okay.
It partners with a bunch of providers and retailers to find you exclusive deals and discounts that are tailored to your spending habits.
So it's not just about those generic coupons or promo codes you find online?
Nope. It's about finding those hidden gems that are actually relevant to you and your lifestyle. And the cool part is it keeps learning and adapting. So the more you use it, the better it gets at finding you savings.
Okay, I have to admit, Snoop definitely sounds intriguing.
It's definitely worth checking out.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to talk about a specific need: managing finances while traveling or living abroad. Because that comes with its own set of challenges, right?
It does. International finance can be tricky. For those who frequently travel or live abroad, there's Monisi. This app offers multi-currency accounts and other features that simplify cross-border transactions.
So for those of us with the travel bug,
Yes,
or who have a more global lifestyle, Moniz could be a game changer.
absolutely. One of the biggest headaches with international finance is dealing with exchange rates and those pesky foreign transaction fees.
Oh, tell me about it.
Moniz aims to minimize those costs. You can have accounts in multiple currencies, spend and transfer money across borders without all that hassle.
So it's like having a passport for your money.
That's a great way to put it. It allows your money to travel as freely as you do.
Love that.
Mm,
But Moniz goes beyond currency exchange, right?
it does. They also offer international money transfers, ATM withdrawals, and even direct debits in different currencies.
Okay, so this sounds like a must-have for digital nomads, expats, anyone who's constantly on the move.
Exactly. And there's another key benefit for folks living abroad: access to local banking services.
Oh, right.
Moniz can hook you up with a local bank account and debit card, making it easier to manage everyday expenses in your new country.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already. Automating savings, budgeting, micro-investing, even managing finances abroad. I think it's time for a little breather. We've thrown a lot of information your way, so take a moment to let it sink in. We'll be back in just a bit to unpack even more money-saving strategies and explore how these apps can help you reach your financial goals.
See you soon.
And we're back. Did you have a chance to catch your breath?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We explored how automation can take the hassle out of saving and how budgeting apps can help us prioritize our goals. But now I think it's time to dive deeper into those aha moments where we really start to understand where our money's going.
Exactly.
We talked about Emma earlier, but I'm curious to explore how this financial detective, as you called it,
Yeah.
can really help us change our habits.
Well, imagine this. You check Emma, and suddenly you realize you're paying for 3 different streaming services that you barely even use.
Oh, yeah.
That's the kind of wake-up call that Emma can provide. It's not just about tracking.
Uh-huh.
It's about awareness. It's about shining a light on those little things that can really add up.
I think we've all been there with those forgotten subscriptions, but is it just about cutting back? Or can Emma help us shift our spending in a bigger way?
It's both. Emma categorizes all your spending so you can see those problem areas. Maybe it's too much takeout or online shopping.
Yeah.
And this awareness is key to making conscious choices about where your money goes.
So it's not about deprivation, it's about making sure your spending aligns with your values and your goals.
Exactly. And what's great is that Emma also offers personalized tips and challenges based on your specific spending patterns.
So it's like having a financial coach in your pocket, kind of nudging you towards better habits.
That's a great way to put it.
Speaking of personalized nudges, let's circle back to Snoop. We talked about how it acts like a financial advisor,
Yeah.
but I want to know more about that proactive approach to saving.
Right. Snoop goes beyond just analyzing your spending. It's actively searching for ways to save you money,
Okay.
whether it's a better deal on your phone bill, lower insurance premiums, or even price drops on things you've been eyeing.
Wow. So it's like having a personal shopper and a bill negotiator all rolled into one.
It is. And what's really fascinating is that Snoop uses both data analysis and human expertise.
Okay.
They have a whole team of real people who are researching deals and negotiating with providers to get the best rates for Snoop users.
That human touch makes a big difference. It's not just an algorithm spitting out generic recommendations. It's actually tailored advice.
Exactly. And Snoop also takes ethical considerations into account, only partnering with companies that align with their values. So you can feel good about saving money while also supporting businesses that are doing things the right way.
Okay, we've talked about apps that automate our savings, help us budget, even analyze our spending habits. But let's not forget about those who are living, working, or simply exploring the world beyond their borders.
Right.
Managing finances internationally can be a whole other challenge.
It can be a minefield.
Yeah.
With exchange rates, fees, and all sorts of logistical headaches, that's where Moniz comes in.
Yeah.
It offers a bunch of tools to make managing money across borders a lot smoother.
We touched on Moniz earlier, but I'd love to hear more about that multi-currency account feature. What makes it so great for travelers and expats?
Imagine you're traveling through Europe and need to pay for a train ticket in euros. With Moniz, you can instantly switch to your euro account within the app
Wow.
and make the payment without any foreign transaction fees. It's like having a digital wallet that adapts to wherever you are in the world.
So no more scrambling to find the best exchange rate or worrying about those hidden fees.
Exactly. And Moniz doesn't stop there. They offer competitive exchange rates, free international ATM withdrawals, even the option to set up direct debits in different currencies.
Okay, this sounds like a dream come true for digital nomads, anyone who wants to simplify their finances while living or working abroad.
It really is. It's about giving people the freedom to live a more global lifestyle without getting bogged down by financial complexities.
I like that. Moniz opens up a world of possibilities. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but I want to take a moment to address a question that might be on everyone's mind. With so many options out there, how do you choose the right money-saving apps for you?
That's a great question. And there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on your individual needs, goals, and your financial personality.
So it's not about finding the best app overall, it's about finding the best app for your unique situation.
Exactly. Think about what aspects of personal finance you struggle with the most. Is it saving consistently? Is it sticking to a budget? Is it just understanding your spending habits? Once you figure out your pain points, you can start looking for apps that address those specific needs.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about being intentional with your choices.
And don't be afraid to experiment. Most apps offer free trials or basic versions,
Right.
so you can test them out before committing. Find what works for you, and don't be afraid to adjust as your needs change.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting. Personal finance is always evolving, and there's always something new to learn and explore.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's this. Take control of your financial narrative. Don't let your money manage you. You manage your money. These apps are tools to help you do that more effectively. But the power ultimately lies in your hands.
That's such an important message. We have more choices and more control than ever before when it comes to our finances.
We do.
It's up to us to make informed decisions and create the financial future that we want.
And remember, it's not just about saving money. It's about creating a life of financial well-being.
Well said. Feeling secure, feeling empowered, feeling in control of your finances. We'll be back in just a bit for the final part of our deep dive to wrap things up and give you some action steps to get started on your journey to financial well-being. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of money-saving apps. We've explored AI, we've talked budgeting, we've even ventured into the realm of international finance.
A whirlwind tour of our financial lives.
It really has been. But now, as we wrap things up, the big question is, what does it all mean for you?
Right. How do we take all this information and actually put it into practice? Because knowing about these apps is one thing, but using them effectively is a whole other ballgame.
Exactly. And I think for a lot of people, it can feel overwhelming. There are so many options, so many features. Where do you even begin? What advice would you give to someone who's feeling a little lost in the sea of money-saving apps?
That's a good question. I'd say start by thinking about your financial goals. What are you hoping to achieve? Are you trying to build up that emergency fund, saving for a down payment on a house? Maybe you just want to get a better handle on your day-to-day spending. Whatever it is, figuring out your why is the first step.
So it's not about just downloading every app that sounds interesting.
Right.
It's about being strategic, choosing the tools that actually align with your priorities.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment a little. Try out a few different apps, see which ones click with you. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about finding the right fit for your financial personality and your lifestyle.
Because we all manage money differently. Some of us are super organized, some of us are more spontaneous.
Absolutely. And your needs might change over time, too. An app that was perfect for you as a student might not be as useful when you're a homeowner with a family.
So be flexible and willing to adjust your toolkit.
Exactly. Personal finance is a journey. It's not a destination. And that's what keeps it interesting, right? There's always something new to learn, new tools to explore.
Speaking of exploring, as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
That's a tough one, but I think it boils down to this. Take control of your financial narrative. Don't let your money manage you. You manage your money. These apps are just tools. They can help you do that more effectively, but ultimately the power is in your hands.
That's a powerful message, and I think it's so true, especially now. We have more choices and more control than ever before when it comes to our finances.
We really do. It's an exciting time.
It is. It's up to us to make informed decisions and create the financial future that we want. So whether it's automating your savings, analyzing your spending, or finding the perfect budgeting buddy, there's an app out there to help you on that journey.
And remember, it's not just about saving money. It's about creating that life of financial well-being, feeling secure, empowered, in control. That's what we're all striving for.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of money-saving apps. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two, discovered some new tools, and feel inspired to take charge of your financial journey.
Absolutely. And if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, remember, start small. Pick one app that resonates with you, give it a try, and see what happens. You might be surprised at the difference it can make.
It's all about taking those first steps. So thank you for joining us on this adventure. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a topic that's sure to spark your curiosity and help you live a more informed and fulfilling life. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for financial well-being. This is The Deep Dive, signing off.